Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Shanul here. I want to talk about the new normal and this perversion of religion that's taking place in terms of our deen, in terms of our Islam, right? Many people may not even be aware of how much we've just given up, right? There's something happening in terms of, on a worldwide scale, right? Boris Johnson recently talked about the Green Revolution, right? There is the establishment, there are the global elite, there are commentators and voices within industry, big pharma, big business, the military industrial complex, talking about a fourth industrial revolution, right? That phrases like the Great Reset, the new normal, build back better, something that Boris Johnson just mentioned at a trade event recently, right? These are phrases that indicate to us where humanity is going, right? And why is this important to us, right? On a macro level, under the guise of the Green Revolution, under the guise of the Great Reset, right? Under the Trojan horse of climate change, many countries, their economies are being absolutely destroyed, right? Their ability to produce, their industries are being ravaged, they're being sanctioned, right? Why? Because it's good for the climate, it's good for the world, right? So similarly, now on a micro level, on a granular level, between person to person, right? Under the Trojan horse of COVID-19, people's ability to produce, people's ability to become self-sufficient, right, is being locked down, is being ravaged, is being destroyed, right? And why is this important to us as Muslims? Is because now our religious freedoms are being destroyed, right? That we not just is this the evil here is that this is not a tyrannical oppression upon us where we're being forced to give up our religious freedoms, although that's now happening, but rather we're doing it voluntarily under the guise of safety. Look at the last year. We've had 11 months to evaluate the science, 11 months, nearly 1 year to look at what this really is. It certainly isn't plague, but under the guise of plague, people are now they've given up their mosques. They're not praying Salah in Jama'ah anymore. To this day, there are people who still would not shake my hand, right? The fiasco of PCR testing, track and trace, right? The fiasco of the COVID numbers, right? The fiasco of the WHO emergency guidelines when it comes to registering a death from COVID, right? I remember in March when I was quite, I've been vocal since, but, when that initial reaction from the Muslims, right? From even some prominent people in the Muslim community, against what I said, and making some personal attacks against me. SubhanAllah, now that after all this time, are those attacks substantiated? Was what I said in regards to the likes of Dr. Sukrit Bhakti, Dr. Wolfgang Wodak, Dr. Dolores Cahill, Dr. Muhammad Adil, right? Dr. Hoek Schoening, right? Who is leading an organization of over 1,000 doctors worldwide against the COVID, the COVID scamdemic, right? Are any of those things proved false? The fact that we as Muslims, we gave up our religious freedoms, without a fight, without fighting. SubhanAllah, what led to that?